Good day, everyone. Welcome to the second lecture of this course entitled Methods of Presenting Data. I am Dr. Nico Lawrence Vidosin, the course instructor of this class. Lesson objectives. At the end of this presentation, the students should be able to, number one, describe the properties, uses, and advantages of textual, tabular, and graphical presentation of data. Number two, tabulate and construct graphs of data that are generated from the workplace. In presenting your data, there are three fundamental methods, and these are textual, tabular, and graphical or graphics or diagrammatic. In textual, it uses text or words, while in tabular, it uses table. In graphical, graphics, or diagrammatic, it uses graphs. In writing, table comes first before the text. So when you read some paragraph in research articles, table comes first before the words or the text that explains the table. Here's the example. This is a table that contains the age distribution of the children and the text that explains the content of the table. So let's read. Table 7.2 summarizes the age distribution of the children. In the age group of 3 to 5, there are 20 children. In the age bracket of 5 to 8, there are 9 children. So the purpose of the text is to support the content of the table. Again, in writing, table comes first before the text. While in figures, or if you utilize figures or a graph, the text comes first before the figure. So figure 1 shows the temperature of the first day of September from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. At 10 a.m., you can see here, the temperature is 4 degrees Celsius. At 11:30 a.m. here, the temperature is 9 degrees Celsius. At 1 p.m., the temperature is 10 degrees Celsius. So again, if you are presenting your data in the form of graph, the text comes first before the figure. So let's discuss now some part of tabular presentation. So tables are made up of table number, title, column heading or captions, this one. We have here the row headings, the source, the footnote, and the body of the table. So these are the essential parts that a table should possess in order to become complete in terms of its component or content. The next one, in terms of the advantage of using table. Number one, it can summarize a vast amount of data. So as you can see, if you will be organizing various amount or vast amount of data, table is the best choice because it can summarize through its column header and rows or row header. Disadvantage, because of its component, or when a table contains complex data, numerous data, it can be overwhelming when you interpret it. So you have to be careful when you are looking at the table, so the mistakes will be lessened or will be removed. Now, textual. In textual presentation, of course, it is made up of text. The advantage of using textual presentation, the data can be explained explicitly, or you can explain that with complete details, or detail by detail, you will be able to explain your data. Disadvantage, when the data are presented with long paragraphs, it can be overwhelming to read. As we all know, it is tiring to read long paragraphs. Okay, so but the advantage of that, it can explain or explain the thought of the data in detail. Third one, graphical presentation. In graphical presentation, uh, such as pie chart, line graph, bar graph, and pictograph, the advantage of that, complex data can easily be summarized. Thus, the readers can easily see the trends of data. So if you will use or utilize graph, it is easy for the reader to see the trends or the patterns of the data. It is easy for them to recognize, is it going up? Is it going down? Or the sales become bigger or become smaller? In terms of the disadvantage, limited variables can be illustrated at a time. So if you have data that needs to be presented, make sure that your data are presented one at a time. There are no variables that are overlapping, or if the variable that you are studying is somehow numerous in terms of observation, you can limit its content so you can present it in a very good manner. Okay, let's now move to the types of graph presentation. First one is the bar graph. So bar graph, also called as bar chart, is a way of presenting data graphically in the form of bars. So it has this part, it has a title, the x-axis, the y-axis, the labels. The x-axis this time contains the categories, while the y-axis contains the scale. So the purpose of the bar graph, it summarizes large amounts of data into groupings. It presents frequency of occurrence of characteristics within the data set, identify population characteristics to be compared. So in the given example, it shows here the unit or the scale being consumed in the following vegetables: potato, onions, tomatoes, capsicum. Capsicum is chili. Okay, so if you're going to examine, you can easily see the trend that onion is one of the most purchased vegetables, to be followed by potatoes, tomatoes, and then capsicum. So by easily looking at the graph, you can easily see the trend or the pattern of data. Another representation of bar graph, it can also be used for comparing one variable at a time. For example, the comparison two of students who own a smartphone at Redwood School by gender. For 2012, you can see here that boys have more a smartphone than girls. You can see here the possession of smartphone are being compared in terms of their gender. Another representation of bar graph, it is by percentage. You can see here the comparison of the students' favorite sport, whether they are male or female. So baseball, you can see here that female is one of the, or thus baseball is one of the most favorite by female. For basketball, somehow female by 51%, I think. And for football, more boys or male love football as compared to female. Another representation, you can use it. You can see the progress here. You can see in the Cherry Street, the highmost percentage is clothing. And as it goes down to different part of the graph, equipment, accessories. So you can see here the actual sales, for example, revenue of Cherry Street. Bigger portion of that is for clothing, followed by equipment and accessories. While for the Apple Road, you can see here the distribution of their revenues in comparison of the three products that they are selling. Another representation, bar graph can be represented in horizontal or vertical orientation. If horizontal, most of the variables that are represented by horizontal bar graph is nominal or categorical grouping. In the given example, government, nonprofit, foundation, consultant. And for vertical, it is commonly used if the data is more of ordinal or sequential. In terms of age, 19, younger 30, 30 to 39, 40 to 49, 50 to 59, and 60 or older. Next one, line graph. So line graph, same with bar graph, it has title, the vertical label, horizontal label, the scale, and the dot or the point and the line. So it presents the relationship between the two variables, the population here and the months, the independent and dependent. It demonstrates trends and prediction usually to support discussion. And line graph is best to use if you are having continuous data, such as time. So you can observe how the population goes up. So if you are if one of your observation factor is affected with time, the most appropriate graph to use is line graph. So another comparison of line graph here. This is the table vis-a-vis graph showing the comparison of bears, dolphins, and whales population from 2017 to 2022. You can see here that the bears population increases, dolphin fluctuating, while whales goes down. Or bears goes up, dolphin goes down, while the whales population is fluctuating. On this side, you can see here the comparison of bar graph and line graph to represent the potatoes consumed in a week. Okay, so you can see that the point where the dots are plotted, you can see here the comparison in bar graph as well. Pie chart. So pie chart displays the relative proportion of several classes of data. It provides visually checked and proportional relationship without a lot of explanation. So for example, how much water do we use? So the highest for that is clothes washer, to be followed by, the highest is toilet rather, to be followed by clothes and washer, shower, faucets, leaks, and others. So we can easily distinguish which portion is higher than lower because of the percentage and the area of the pie that it consumes. Second one, how frequently do teenagers check their online social media? The highest is 56%, goes online several times a day. To be followed by once a day, once a week, and every 6 months. Pet ownership, you can see here that the dogs is the most dominant percentage. By the way, if you are reporting a particular data from, say, viewer, the trend of the discussion must start with highest to lowest or lowest to highest as long as there is a logical sequence of discussion. The fourth illustration comparing the internet usage of USA in 2020 in comparison to desktop and mobile computer, mobile data. So the highest is mobile data to be followed by desktop usage. Last one, the comparison of the renewable sources generating electricity in Europe in 2020. So you can see the highest is wind, hydro rather, no, wind 36%, hydro 33%, to be followed by solar and solid fuels and others. Next, pictograph. Pictograph is composed of the following parts. It also has titles, labels, symbols, and key. Key is one of the most important portion of the pictograph because it represents the conversion of one quantity in terms of picture. Okay, for example, this cloud represents 3 days. So in January, we can say that there are 3 plus 3, 6 rainy days, 3, 3, 6, 9, 15, 12. So that's how it represents. So another example, the number of apples sold. So the legend is here, 2. So there are 2 apples sold here. So 2, 4, 6, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. There are 12 apples sold in Monday, 8 in Tuesday, 14 in Wednesday, 10 in Thursday, 16 on Friday. Next, another graph, the fruits consumed in local school in 2019. In school A, banana, while in school C, the highest is the school with orange. And the last picture, the population of Egypt. So this one is 10 million, and the half is 5 million. So here, 25 million, 40 million, 70 million, and then 11.5 million. You see how important the legend in representing the pictograph. Another GIF that I've seen online, it is comparing the age group of the people coming from different offices. Production, it's production, have production department, marketing department, accounts department, and IT department across their age group from 2025, 26 to 30, 31 to 35, 36 to 40, 41 to 45. So activity, I'd like you to gather 5 sets of data in the form of table that are generated from your workplace or you use in teaching. So if you are a marketing or if you are an MBA student, I'd like you to search for data that you are using in your company. But don't worry, it's just for classroom output. Or if you are a teacher, a MAED graduate, I'd like you to share some data that you use in teaching. Present them in the form of graph after tabulating them, and interpret the result by focusing on the trends of data. Do your tasks in PowerPoint and submit them in PDF format. So submit your work through, it's not an email, but through Google Classroom. I only indicated this email address if in case that you don't have access yet in terms of the Google Classroom. But if you are now enrolled in Google Classroom, no need to send through email, just in the Google Classroom. Okay? With that, that's all for this afternoon and have a great day. Goodbye, everyone.